welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am bringing you a tutorial on this makeup look. This time I am doing both the eyes and the complexion on camera. I don't think I'm the only one who hasn't been really looking for full glam looks during this quarantine, but I missed it so much that I've decided to bring this tutorial to you guys, and I really hope you like it. So in case you're interested on knowing how I did this, just keep on watching. Now that I don't have any makeup on, let's get started. I've already prepped my skin, so now we can just jump right into makeup. And I will be doing my eyes first, just because I will be working with shimmers and darker eyeshadows, so I just want to prevent me from ruining my complexion once it's done. Now I'll just zoom in so that you can see in detail what I'm doing and how I apply every single eyeshadow. I didn't apply any primer off camera, and the one that I'll be using for my eyes is the Proof It by NYX. I'll just apply a little bit on the eyelid, and I usually spread this with my finger. Even though I've applied primer, I'm still going to apply a little bit of concealer. This is the NARS Radiance concealer. It's the one that I always use, and it's in the shade Custard. And I will use it to build a base before applying any eyeshadows, just because I want to even out the skin tone. I'm just applying a little bit, and then I will be using my wet beauty blender to blend it. Now that I've built the base, I'm just going to set the concealer with a little bit of powder. This is the Mercier powder, the one and only. I'm just using a regular blending brush, and I'm going to use the slightest amount of powder possible because I don't want this to grab too much powder. The palette that I'll be mostly using is this one. I'm not saying the name of the palette just because I struggle to say it, but it's from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and the shade that I'll be using for my transition will be OG, which is this orangey brown. To apply my transition shade, I will be using the 228 from Zoeva. This is my favorite blending brush ever. I'm just picking some of the eyeshadow. So I will just start by placing the brush in my crease, and I'm just blending it in my crease. Can you see how easily this blending brush does the job? One thing that I'm doing is bringing the eyeshadow almost until the corner of my eye, just because this is a cut crease, so I need that depth in the full crease. I'm pulling the eyeshadow outwards. I didn't add product to my brush. I'm just working with whatever eyeshadow I have on my lid. Next, to add a lot more depth to my crease, I will be picking the eyeshadow 1988, which is this dark brown, and I will be using the Morphe 506 brush, which is this tiny blending brush, which I really love to use to apply dark eyeshadows to my crease. This time I will be a lot more precise, hence I picked this brush. I'm just trying not to get the eyeshadow all over my crease. And I am bringing it almost until my inner corner. I don't want to bring it completely until my inner corner because it will make my eyes look really small. And one thing that I like to do when I apply this darker eyeshadow to add a little bit more depth to my eye is just to keep my eye slightly open, just to see how it looks, because I feel like if I close the eye which I'm applying the eyeshadow on, once I open it, it just looks like a mess. Now this brush has no product in it, so I'm just going to blend the two eyeshadows together. And to do that, I will blend where the darker one finishes and the lighter one starts, in this middle part. I'm applying a little bit more. Now I'm just doing some circular motions because I feel like this really helps blending everything. Guys, I'm trying to multitask more because I know that in my previous videos I usually stop to talk, and I'm trying not to do that because it makes my videos super long, and then I don't know what to do whenever I'm doing my makeup and I'm super quiet for like 2 minutes, because I don't want to cut that part because it's important. I want you guys to see how I do it, but it's just kind of boring because I don't say anything. Now I'm just picking the Zoeva brush again, and I'm going over the two eyeshadows, not exactly on my crease, a little bit above, because I don't want to blend the dark eyeshadow. I want to keep that depth in my crease. I'm just going over where one finishes and the other one starts, just to make sure that everything is blended together. I'll just apply a little bit of this dark brown in the outer V. I was going to do this later, but I feel like it needs a little bit of balance, so I'm just going to do it now. Now I'm just going to do the right eye off camera and I'll be right back. I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but I have a patch in here in my skin that doesn't matter how much pigment I apply, it's like the eyeshadow will never stick there. Now that the eyeshadows are completely blended, I'm just going to move on to the next step, which is completely optional. This is something that I personally do because I feel like it takes the cut crease to another level, but if you want to jump this step and skip to the lid, it's completely fine. So the step that I'm talking about is to apply a little bit of black eyeshadow. I'm going to be using the BECCA from the same palette to my crease, and I will be using this brush from Primark. This is a really precise brush. I'm not going to be blending with this one, but I'm definitely going to be using this to apply the black eyeshadow with precision. I'm just picking some of the eyeshadow. Remove the excess, especially when you're working with black eyeshadow. Work little by little because it can turn out to be a mess super quick. So I'm just going to be applying it in the area that I'm going to reach with my concealer. This will look like a mess, but trust me. Do you see where I naturally have my crease? I apply the eyeshadow in it and a little bit above. I know this might seem a little bit crazy, but I do this and it works. I'm not taking it entirely until my inner corner, but almost. Now to blend it, I will be using this brush. This is the same Morphe brush that I used to apply the darker brown in my crease. And again, I keep my eye open, and this time I won't close it just because I want to see exactly where I'm placing this eyeshadow. And I know this looks completely ridiculous, but once it's blended and once you apply the concealer, you will see the difference that it makes. It just gives you that final touch of depth and it makes the cut crease stand out even more. And I know that I'm not applying this to my outer V. I usually don't apply it. In the end, if I feel like my outer V needs a little bit more darkness, then I will just apply it. But that is just something that I will decide in the end. Another brush that I love using to blend this black eyeshadow whenever I'm doing a cut crease is from Morphe. This is the M562. Whenever I'm doing my eye makeup, you will see me going back and forth with my biggest blending brush. This is the Zoeva, again, because I just want to make sure that everything blends together, that I don't have any harsh lines. I'm just applying a little bit of the black eyeshadow in the outer corner, and I know that I said that I only do this in the ending, but I feel like the colors are not connecting really well this time, so I just need a little bit of this black eyeshadow. I have finished the blending part of camera just because it's like 15 minutes of me just trying to blend the eyeshadows together. Not really that interesting. So now we'll be moving on to the lid. And don't worry about the eyeshadow that you have on your lid. As you can see, I have a lot of it, but we'll just clean it up with concealer. To cut the crease, I will be using the same concealer as always, the NARS Radiance concealer, and I will be using this brush from Morphe. This is the M410. One thing that I love to do to cut the crease that I find really helpful is just to put some of the concealer in the back of my hand. And then while I'm cutting the crease, I just pick a little bit with the brush and do whatever I have to do. I really want to show you this trick. This will change your cut crease game. So basically all I do is apply a little bit of concealer as close as possible to my lash line, and I try to apply kind of a significant amount, not too much, you know, just enough to transfer. And then I open my eyes as widely as I can, just so that it kind of prints, and as you can see, it will kind of start shaping some sort of a line, and that's where your cut crease should end. And I didn't apply enough concealer for it to transfer and for you to see like the real line that it does, so I'm just going to apply a little bit more in here. And now you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. Obviously this line won't be perfect, you will still have to sharpen it a little bit and you have to do the rest of the shape, but this is already a good start, especially if you're a beginner when it comes to cut creases. This will give you a clear idea where it should end. And sometimes, especially for me, I have like really small lids. Sometimes I go a little bit above it, but just a little bit. Sometimes I do it just because my cut crease will just look a little bit too small. I feel like this is worse than doing my eyeliner. I cannot even breathe. So now I'm just creating the rest of the shape. And I'm trying to connect it. And yes, if you can tell, I have an issue doing straight lines. I'm not really one of those persons that brings the cut crease until here. I don't really like seeing it, but this is something that you kind of build it up according to your personal preferences. I think that now you can start seeing the difference that the black eyeshadow makes. Basically, it just adds a lot more depth than the dark brown eyeshadow would do. That is it for the cut crease, but now, as you can see, I have a clear line where the concealer finishes and the darker eyeshadows in the outer corner start. So what I like doing is just tapping with my finger just for those two to merge together. This is not going to do like the full job, but then we will add a little bit more of the darker eyeshadows just to blend it perfectly. As you can see, it starts making a giant difference. Just make sure that you're not bringing the concealer higher than what is supposed to. Now I am picking the Morphe brush that I used on my crease, the M506, just to apply a little bit more of the darker brown eyeshadow, the 1988, where those two formulas merge together. I'm just tapping to apply the pigment, and then I will worry about the blending. To set the concealer that I used to cut my crease, I will be using the same translucent powder, the Laura Mercier one, and to apply that powder, I will be using this brush from Zoeva. This is the 234, and I will press the powder against the lid. The glitter that I will be using on my lid is the number 2 from MUSA. This is actually a Portuguese brand that I really love. Their glitters are super amazing, and to apply it I will be using their brush. As you can see, it says MUSA Makeup and it has 2 tips. This is the larger one, and then they have this tip which is for a more precise application. I will be starting by applying it in my inner corner. Can you see how much this glitter reflects the light? It's so good. And by the way, this doesn't really require glue or anything. This is a creamy glitter, so it will just stick wherever you put it. Usually whenever I am applying glitter, I start by applying in the easier areas, and then I go closer to the line of the cut crease. This shade is my favorite shade from them. I love it so much. Now with the more precise tip, I'm just getting closer to the line of my cut crease. I love how this makeup look is turning out. And I know that we still have a harsh line, don't worry, I will be blending it in a second. That is it for the MUSA glitter. Now to sort of build the transition between the darker eyeshadow in my outer corner and the glitter, I will just be applying Gemini, if that's how it is pronounced, from the palette. And to apply it, I will be using the same MUSA glitter brush. I'm just going to clean it, and I'm going to be using the wider side of the brush. So I'm just picking a little bit of the glitter. I'm just tapping and applying the smallest amount of product possible. Now I will just be picking 1988, and I will be using the shader brush from Zoeva 234. I'll just be tapping it in the outer corner to continue blending the shadows together. Obviously, this is matte eyeshadow versus glitter, so the formulas don't really blend together, but you can make sure that the transition is a lot smoother. I'm just going to do this sort of zigzag motions to blend the glitter into the brown. And as you can see, the glitter is kind of starting to fade until the matte eyeshadow. It's getting a lot more sparse where the two eyeshadows meet. I just hope you can see how bright my eyes shine. And by the way, this is a trick that I use in every makeup look, but basically I always keep a napkin or a towel in my desk just to clean the brushes, but towels always do a better job. And yes, sometimes I go back and forth because sometimes I apply too much of the matte eyeshadow or too much of the glitter. So that is it for the cut crease. I won't be doing a wing liner just because I don't feel like this look needs a wing liner and because it's kind of dark. So the only thing that I will be doing is a black line with my liner just to make sure that my lashes look a little bit more full, and I don't know, it just makes a really big difference after applying lashes. The eyeliner that I will be using is my absolute favorite black eyeliner. This is from Inglot and it's the 77. The brush that I will be using to do the line is also from Inglot. This is the 23T. It's just a eyeliner brush with a really tiny tip. As you can see, I'm only applying a line really close to the lash line. I feel like dark makeup looks like this always make the eyelashes disappear, even when I wear false lashes. So doing this makes the world of a difference. And I also think that this helps blending the natural lashes with the false lashes together. So that is it for the liner. Now I'll just curl my lashes, apply falsies, and then apply mascara. And by the way, no, I don't apply mascara before applying the false lashes, just because it makes my job a lot harder. I don't know if it's because I have really long lashes, I don't know, it just makes me struggle really hard. So the falsies that I will be using are the Wispies from ARDELL. I'm back. I just went off camera to apply the false lashes and mascara. The mascara that I used was this one, Size Up from SEPHORA collection. And yes, this is a sample. Now I'll just be cleaning any glitter that is on my face and I will be moving on to my complexion. To prime my skin, I will be using the MAC Prep+Prime. I'm just going to apply a little bit on my face. This primer just basically helps you achieving a radiant skin. I'm just going to conceal my under eye area as usual. This is the Naked Skin color correcting fluid in the shade Peach. And I just use this in the darker areas of my under eye. I'm blending it with my beauty blender. For foundation, I will be using the same one as always. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Foundation. And to apply it, I will be using the Zoeva Buffer Brush. I start by applying most of the product in the center and then I spread it outwards, as I've told you before. And I don't know if you saw my last video, but if you did, you heard me saying that sometimes I do my eye makeup look before my complexion and it doesn't look that good, and once I do my complexion it all comes together. And as soon as I've started to apply my foundation, it's like my eye makeup look was so much better than I thought that it would be in the end result. Now I'm just going over with my beauty blender with more foundation. When it comes to this kind of makeup looks, I always want to make sure that I have a full coverage on because this is a full glam. Now moving on to the concealer, I will be using the same old one. This is the NARS Radiance Concealer in the color Custard. I will use this concealer to brighten up the areas of my face that I want to brighten. The skin on my nose is kind of flaking. I just hope you cannot see it. But yeah, my skin in there is kind of dehydrated. Now I'll just do my brows off camera for the reason that you probably know by now. So now I will be moving on to contour, and to do that I will be using the Tantour from Huda Beauty. And by the way, I completely forgot to zoom out after doing the eye makeup look, but I'm looking at what you are looking at and you can see my whole face, so I might as well just keep it like that until the end of the video. To apply this product, I will be using the Real Techniques brush. I'm just tapping to add the shadow in the areas that I want to add it. I always apply a little bit in the perimeter of my forehead because, as I have told you before, I feel like my forehead is way too big, so this helps it look a little bit smaller. I usually go over the edges of the products just to make sure that they blend together. Now moving on to the powders, I will start by setting and baking with the Laura Mercier powder. And as I have told you, I think it was in my previous video, before setting the under eye, always go over it with the beauty blender with no product, just to blend any creasing that might have happened. Now I'm just picking some of the powder and I'm going to apply it in my under eye area with the beauty blender. I am literally just pressing the powder against my skin, and I'm applying a lot of products just because I want to bake. Now to set the rest of my face, I will be using the 116 from Primark. I love this brush. I don't know if it's still being sold at Primark, but I hope so because this is amazing. I'm just going to apply a little bit of powder in here just to sharpen up my contour a little bit. Now I'll just remove the excess powder that I have on my face. To bronze my face a little bit, I will be using the Hoola bronzer. from Benefit. And to apply it, I will be using this Japanese brush. For blush, I will be using the California from Benefit, which is the pink in the middle. And I love to apply it in circular motions just because I feel like it blends everything together a lot easier. I completely forgot how pigmented this blush is, but it's fine. Like, if you think that you have applied too much blush, don't worry, because blush is the first thing to fade away. Now I'll just apply a little bit of the Hoola bronzer in the sides of my nose just to give it a light contour. And by the way, contour the nose is honestly my least favorite part of the makeup. I struggle so hard to do it. For highlighter, I will be using the same one as always, the BECCA in the shade Moonstone. To apply the highlighter in the bridge of my nose and on the tip of it, I will be using the Shade and Light brush from Kat Von D, and I'll be using this precise tip to apply it. I will also be applying it in the brow bone, in the cupid's bow, and I also apply it in the inner corner of my eyes. Now I'm just going to finish the lower lash line to complete the eye makeup look. First, I am picking the transition shade named OG, in case you don't remember, and I will be applying with the brush that I believe that it's the Y16 from Morphe. Next, I will be picking the 1988. And I will be using the Morphe M506. I'm just picking some of the eyeshadow, remove the excess, and apply it as close as possible to my lash line. Next, I am taking this black Makeup Forever eye pencil, and I will be applying it in the waterline. Now I'll just apply the same mascara in the lower lashes, and that is it for the eye makeup look. That is it for the eyes, and by the way, when I applied my highlighter, I completely forgot to apply it in the other areas of my face that I wanted to apply it, so I'll just be taking a step back and finish with this product. I'm just applying it in my cheekbones. And as usual, in the apples of my cheeks when the brush has pretty much no product in it. We have almost finished this makeup look. Now I'm just going to set every single product that I have on my face using the All Nighter from Urban Decay. For the lips, I will keep it really simple just because I want the full attention to be on the eye makeup look. So I will start by using this lip pencil from MAC. This is the one that I always use. This is my favorite lip pencil. I'm just going to quickly line my lips. Now for lipstick, I will be picking this Kat Von D. This is in the shade Ludwig. It's getting really hard to apply the lipstick because, to be honest, I'm seriously hungry, so my hands are starting to shake too much. So that is it for this makeup look. This is the end result. Just one last time for you guys to check it. I hope you liked it. I really love this makeup look and I miss doing a full glam look so much. But now I'm back and I'm full of ideas, so I'm super excited about it. So yeah, I hope you liked this video and I hope you find it useful. In case you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave this video a like. It really helps me growing my channel. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!